Yo, so it's day 3 of Duskmourn Standard, and I am doing Azorius Enchantments today for you. This isn't probably the perfected build by any means, but it's really strong, and I have been playing for like a day and a half with it, and I think that there's like some things that I've learned. Um, Particularly, there is the meta is really aggressive right now. It's really, really fast paced, so you do need a lot more like interaction than maybe previously I thought. Of course, like enchantments are usually meant to like exile stuff, and we do have that. But we also need like some counters, sort of avoid some of those cards hitting the battlefield, enter the battlefield triggers, and also it's just like a way of ensuring that our creatures don't get removed. Because like often, right, we really need our creatures to stick on the battlefield to really start kind of going off and turning the corner. So you do need to counter that stuff because you can't really like trap them to screen it, for example. But let's go over the deck. So there's like really good 2 and 3 drops that we got to sort of facilitate things. Things like Gremlin Tamer, right? This is going to help you go wide, which is really, really important. We also have Inquisitive Glimmer, which is an enchantment itself that also lowers the cost of enchantments. So, like, I imagine you could run like 4 of this, and really sort of rely on this to cast like larger enchantments and stuff. But we're going a little bit lower to the ground, not like super super low by any means. And then of course, Optimistic Scavenger here is a great 1-drop. This kind of effect is not to be overlooked. It really does help you grow your guys to a relevant size so you can actually attack and block. And it's honestly, it's our only 1-drop creature, only 1-drop creature. So it's really really important to have, I think, 4 of these. And another really cool card, actually, sorry, Enduring Innocence. This is probably the main sexy card of this deck. This card, when it dies, you bring it back, and meanwhile, every time one of our smaller creatures is entering the battlefield, we're drawing a card. So that's really, really strong. So also when so it dies, comes back, it counts as an enchantment entering the battlefield, so that can trigger even more Gremlin Tamers. You make another Gremlin, you draw another card. So there's like that synergy that's going on. That's like super, super important. Entity Tracker is also really, really good. You can't really, can't really complain about this kind of effect, and the flash is awesome. It's also power 2 or less. So I wanted to like run more of this, but honestly don't have the rare, and I think 1 is actually probably fine because it's just really hard to find slots in this deck. You can see that like we're running 3 No More Lies, which is really, really important. And I think like, throw it 3 steps ahead in here if you have them. Really, really good. And then a Phantom interference, sorry, is really, really good. It pretty much most of the time is going to counter the thing that you're trying to counter, and also later in the game it can give you a flyer. Our only other flyer is actually like the tokens you get from Overlord and Mistmoors. This card's awesome. Definitely run more of these if you have them. They're not even legendary, by the way, just something to point out. So really, really good. You could definitely run more of those. But yeah, Enduring Curiosity here is another flash creature. But yeah, being able to draw cards every time our little guys actually connect is really, really good as well. We're also playing like, well, I'll go over some of the later end of the curve, but like Heliod's, this is probably like one of the best decks for him ever since he was protoned, because like it's easy to cast him. You can get your important enchantments back. Like usually, sometimes it's just like an unable to scream, but even then, it's fine because like this is gonna stop a Sholdred from being a Sholdred, right? So you can't really complain there. We're also doing the new Wandering Rescuer, which is absolutely great. This card's awesome. So like you're gonna have your creatures be tapped, and all the time, whether they're swinging or you're convoking it. But often you'll have a bunch of these gremlins. You can just tap down the gremlins to protect all your guys. So it's really, really good. And it's a 3/4 double striker. So sometimes like 6 damage is, we don't really have too many big creatures. So you sort of need that. And also like if you do combat damage with this guy, you get to draw 2 cards. So that's kind of nice. We're also doing the bottomless pool here, which is another way of doing drawing cards on combat damage. So something I've learned is like you really sort of need ways of making these guys able to connect, and really we don't have too many ways of that other than just sort of clearing the way with our unable screams, our counter spells, right? We have a few of those, and then trapped in the screen is really, really important. Also Sheltered by Ghosts is in here, which is actually a really strong card. Honestly, I probably maybe you should be running like 1 more of these, maybe like 1 more than Trapped in the Screen, but sometimes you don't actually have a creature when you want to lay these cards, whether it's a heavy removal deck you're up against, they've just board wiped you, things like that. So also when the creature does die, even though it does have Ward 2, the effect sort of leaves. Which, I mean, like, Trapped in the Scream is the same way, but it's, like, easier to target creatures. So there's, like, some intricacies there to consider. But we're also doing one Season of the Burrow because it's honestly, you know, one other way of getting something out of our graveyard. You can exile a permanent with that. Sometimes it's really critical. Or just a bunch of tokens if you really need blockers. Also, it helps with that go wide, do combat damage to draw cards. Kind of, you know, synergy that we need. Season of Bleeding's good because you can, like, you know, make 2 copies of, like, your Enduring Curiosity, you know. But most likely, you'd probably do, like, your Inquisitive Glimmer, right? Make a bunch of copies of these so you can actually get a bunch of enchantments coming in. There are also 2/3 bodies, which isn't too bad. Or you can copy a bunch of Gremlin Tamers, and then if you do have another enchantment, you can lay, like, next turn. If it's safe to do that, you can just, like, really pop off. It's also just, a sort of semi-board wipe if you return everything. And if we do have a lot of tokens, we can keep those on the field, so that's pretty nice. But yeah, Mistmoore is awesome. And pretty much the only other cards is, like, Split Up here for just, like, keeping us alive sometimes. It's lower on the curve, so we can, like, double spell sometimes. I think one Split Up is really nice. And actually, I guess we did miss Ethereal Armor, but this is, like, you know, your 1-drop that buffs your guy super, super big in this deck when you do have a lot of enchantments. So that could be pretty relevant sometimes. I'm not running the Flash Hexproof one. Just really couldn't find the slot. Maybe that one fits in. You could probably cut, like, one Enable the Scream, maybe find, like, another enchantment or maybe one more counter spell if you want to go more of that route. But the mana is split pretty evenly down the middle. Restless Anchorage is a 4 of, and this card can be, like, a really good mana sink later on. It's also another form of flying, and it's another way of, you know, triggering our draw cards on combat damage effect. And just one Fountain Port finds its way in here, because we do need, like, you know, a lot of these cards need, like, a white and a blue, so I felt it a little hard to run more of the colorless, but everything else is pretty standard, right? So I just realized that Volgavoss Lair, I made a few different versions of this deck, and I guess I didn't add it to this one, so that was just, like, a mistake. But you'd want to run probably 4 of these if you can't, maybe not. Take out maybe, like, one Restless Anchorage, run, like, 3 of them. You know, you could do stuff like that. Take out the planes. But 24 lands seems pretty good. This is sort of like a more mid-range build. But Volgavoss Lair is absolutely essential, so don't forget that. And yeah, so that's pretty much the deck. It's fun. It's tempo-y. It's cool. It's like a control sort of, I don't know, draw cards with your creatures deck. So hope you like it. I really appreciate you all being here. You know, it means a lot. I'm a small channel, but doing this just like a couple years and almost up to like 200 videos, and so it's feeling pretty good to have some of you finally subscribing and all that, and that's been awesome. So much love, and I will see you in the gameplay. Alright, so first game here, we have a pretty, we have a slower hand than sometimes. And it's not so bad, Let's keep it. Gremlin Tamer is really good. Sort of our main way of going wide and also triggering, like, Enduring Innocence. So that's nice. We are only running 3 copies. It was hard to figure out the right number of copies for this deck. It really is. We're also not playing the the blue Overlord, things that you'd think would be in here. I don't actually quite have the wild cards for that, but it doesn't really matter because it's not so important, I would say. Some of the counter spells and interaction we have are actually pretty critical. We probably go for a counter spell here. Let's swing. Sure, we're leaving this open to tiny bones, but I think it'll be alright. Because we have a counter, baby. So let's see. The Season of Burrow later can be pretty damn good as well. Yeah. Almost want to hold that. I almost want to hold this. Let's actually go, well, let's go for this. Because we can double spell next turn. with the Gremlin. Kind of hold up this for the counter. I think that's much better. Enduring, very nice. However, let's do this. I think that's probably what we want to do, because we don't want to block. Both blocks are kind of bad for us. Coming down on efficiency. Enduring is so good though, because when all of these, when they get removed, they come back. This one's really nice though, because it does trigger the well, first of all, it just draws a bunch of cards over the course of the game, especially when you lay it right, you get your 1/1s. When it comes back, you get your 1/1s. So really synergistic with Gremlin Tamer, and we will absolutely counter that. So pretty good stuff so far. Now this deck can get sort of run over by mono red before we can really get set up. But then again, what deck can't right now? Ooh, so we can't double spell because we need both whites. But definitely do this. Boom, bam. Yeah, it's only a once per turn trigger, but that's all we need. This double seasons. Okay, we're running one of each. Got him. Honestly, yeah, we're set up pretty nicely. Right, we're just waiting for that one more mana to cast the Season of the Burrow. And this card later in the game isn't so great, but it's also not bad either. It's also just a way of triggering the draw card effect next turn. So, pretty good. Let's get into some more. Okay, game 2, a little bit of a different hand. I like it. None of these cards we got to cast last game. So, let's take it. Shelter by Ghost is actually really good. Scavenge. The thing about it is, yeah, when the creature gets removed, this goes away. But meanwhile, it's adding Ward 2 and lifelink and a plus to the attack. So the creature can stick around a couple turns at least, and take a lot of benefit from that. And then when they do remove it, they have to use like their whole turn to do so. So that got kicked. Kicked? Is that the right move? So Optimistic. We will unable to scream. I almost thought I had to enchant a land for a second there. I was playing a lot of Calyx with ossification stuff going on. So now they can't protect their guys, and yeah, they can block for one turn, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Okay, so it looks like a toxic deck. We can actually, because this will still have it exiled, because technically it hasn't left the battlefield. So I think we just trapped in the screen. Goodbye, come again. We just want to get our creature back, because we can, lower the cost of enchantments with Inquisitive Glimmer. By the way, this guy is an enchantment in himself, so he's actually really good. Okay. So, we're down to brass tacks. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to go wide and do the enchantment stuff. This is a good card, but it's slow, and it does ping them for damage, so I think that'll actually add up in our favor. This is kind of tough. Let's actually... Let's Glimmer this turn. So now we can 1 mana Shelter. And honestly, it's just already a 2/3 body, which is good. See that we only have the 1 white mana here. We're a little bit... oh, okay. Well, all the cards out of their hand. So that's pretty unfortunate, can't lie. So we gotta do this. This has a dies trigger. Can also take away the power. Grow our guy. Can't necessarily swing and start getting... Because the scary thing is when they get lifelink, we need 3 poison counters. We're at 2 right now. So that's something to consider. Is it a pump spell? No, they were trying to bluff. Okay, we'll take that. That's a big wing. Big W. Well, let's equip this. We'll exile this, which is massive. This gets bigger. Now we have a 4 power lifelinker. Can't complain there. And we swing. I think we gotta start swinging at some point here. Yeah, we will go to 3. So if they get like another Scrowl, like whatever, but we gotta start getting rid of those guys. Okay, venerated. So now it's a game of Magic, baby. So they were playing venerated. Okay. Unlucky draws, kind of. We didn't take the best hand, but not crazy ideal stuff occurring. Well, yeah. Okay. That's fine. I sort of doubt they have a pump spell for the Rot Priests. They could. They usually could. Yeah, this tells me that they do. I guess, man. It's kind of a tough one. So we're just going for the poison counters exclusively there. So we swing with this. Wandering Rescuer being flashed out here is really, really nice. So I highly doubt they pump it large. Well, they could. Okay, we flash this out because this does count as a white mana. Has, you know, it's white and blue. Cool. Dang, we need that second white, man. Unfortunate. If they kind of have to block, right? Yeah, they have to block one of these. So that gives me confidence to swing with everybody. We're leaving ourselves really vulnerable, and they have 2 cards in hand. But yeah, they had to block that. We're at 36 life, so we're not worried about damage. We got a counter spell. Boom! There she blows. So the Wandering Rescuer doing the thing. Game 3. Let's try it. I think it's a good enough hand. 2 Inquisitives is actually really nice. Right? Any enchantment we lay afterwards, like a Trap Scream. I think we have to get rid of the Rescuer. It is obviously a good card, but it's not essential here. So 3 blues. Interestingly, we've been kind of flooding blues. I think we have 1 less blue than our planes count, but what have you. So let's get some board presence down. Sure, if they have the removal, they have it. It does suck that Glimmer, like if this was like a 1/4 though, it'd be kind of broken. Probably be a lot better, but do I want to walk right into another removal spell? Yeah, but let's see what we can scry here. So that's good. That's good. We like Heliod. So let's walk right into a removal spell. I mean, it's like, what do I not play it? I guess. So they have to, you know, use their turn 4 to do it. It's not cut down too. That's unfortunate. We want to get those go for the throats or other things out more. Okay, so we get rid of this blue. We hit our critical 4 mana. We lay Heliod. Heliod will get us back one of our enchantments, right? Which is actually really good. Enter the battlefield trigger. It is a respectable body. You can flip him over to give our enchantments flash, which is actually really nice. Because, yeah, he gets, like, 2 extra toughness. That's about it, right? It did have to go for the throat. You love to see it. This card does have Menace, right? Yeah, it does. That's actually really annoying. So we walk right into a removal spell. But we have the counter this time. Huh? No, they're not going to do it. Are they going to do it? You know what? I'm sick of your shit. Alright, if shoulder comes down, we trap her in the screen, baby. No! Well, that sucks. We get rid of the scream card here. I guess. Not ideal. Not ideal. So they probably have like more discards, so I think we just lay this, right? I guess I didn't lay it first to reveal that. But we're gonna swing anyway. Because it does have Menace, baby. So this Scry 2 from the Hopeless Nightmare is really good. But in pretty good position. We're down to brass tacks here. We do have some actual good. Well, we did pitch the Wandering Rescuer here. So okay, we can cast or we can lay this. Yeah, not much else we can do, but at least we can lay every card in our deck. We can even season of the blue one. Discovery? Season of Discovery? Is that what it is? Of course, they laid the Band's Talent. I forgot about that. We probably should have kept those cards. So we could potentially avoid the damage that we're going to take from having one card. Well, we got, what was it, 3 manas in a row? Ooh, the shoulder was not what I wanted to see. But I guess it makes sense. They haven't laid it yet. That's not bad. Comes in as a 6/6 with the Flyers. The thing is, though, we're goobed from the stupid damage we're about to take when the Abandon's Talent. So we're going to take 2 from Shouldered here. But yeah, hard casting this feels good. I mean, that's 10 power on the battlefield. There she blows. There she blows. Baby. Alright. You don't have any sort of like flash life gain and stuff. Well, that'll happen. That'll happen sometimes with this deck. I think that like maybe, well, the Wanderer wouldn't have really helped us. We did just get some terrible draws that game, and I guess I could have held this card up for the Shouldered, which probably would have made a big difference. But that was kind of a big ask. Wasn't really sure. I don't know. Could have played that better. And I think just I'll probably end the video here so I can get this video out on time. But I've been playing this deck for like a day and a half, and it's really, really good. But of course, yeah, decks like Mono Red run us over. You might want to run more like Trapped in the Screams, maybe even like Leyline Binding if you're doing maybe like one more color. There's also the Flash 4-drop exile any non-land permanent gain 2 life card, which is pretty good. And often with like Glimmer, that could be a cheaper card. You can also run like Ossifications, right? So there's a lot to do. There's like limited slots, and I sort of want to try, you know, like more of the Glimmers and more of the Gremlin Tamers. So I think there's a lot to be figured out still. Just mostly the number of copies. But Enduring Innocence is super important, right? And I think that the Flash guy, the tracker card, the 3-drop blue that draws you cards when dudes enter is actually really good because of that flash. So you can sort of build up some momentum, at least draw one card with him. It's also power 2 or less to trigger the Innocence. So a lot of synergy. It's just like, I don't know if it's like a top tier deck right now. You know, you'd think maybe with more Overlords. Maybe we get the blue one, maybe that. Maybe we go more of the toy route with like the porcelain stuff. You make a bunch of gremlins. You're making toys at the same time, and then you finally, you know, for 6 mana, make them all huge. I've actually done, I've done that before. I think I took a screenshot. Probably put that in the intro. It's actually really, really good. So, anyway, guys, I really had fun today, and I will have a Golgari list, I think, coming out next. Spider Plants. It's actually really strong, way stronger than I thought it would be. So, that should be next. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like it. That would help me out a lot, and I hope you have a great day. See you in the next one.